If you exist, you would just show up right now.
What's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you that made you think that God was real? And I'm not talking about believing in some kind of universal energy. I'm talking...
Oh, he's real. God is real. I had just gotten kicked out of my shelter that I was staying at, the homeless shelter I was staying at, because I got into a little squabble. Another story for another day. And I moved into a Nissan Altima. You guys know the story. I lived inside a Nissan Altima for 8 months and 3 weeks. And while I was in a Nissan Altima, that particular night, it was so cold. It was freezing. My Nissan Altima was missing one window. The doors did not lock. And I'm just bawling my eyes out. I'm just crying. I'm like, I'm so over this. By the way, in those 8 months and 3 weeks I was staying in the car, I had lost my faith in God, because for me, I'm like, what kind of God will allow someone who's originally, predisposed to being sick, allow them to be homeless? Like, he must not exist. So I was an atheist for a little bit there. And so I'm in the back of my car, sleeping like I always do. I'm crying all night. And I just kept saying, God, if you exist, if you are real, you will show yourself to me, period. Nothing. I hear nothing from him. I didn't hear a sound. I didn't hear a peep. I'm just crying. Like, I'm literally cursing out this God that I no longer believe in. I'm just like, you're such a bad person. How could you do this to me? If you exist, you would just show up right now. You would tell me you exist. You would show up right now. Nothing. And so then I started playing R. Kelly's Storm Is Over Now. Now, you guys know that song. The last 30 seconds of it is a very powerful, like, it's just, you feel it viscerally. I think it's written by Kirk Franklin. And I must have played it at least 300 times. That could also be the fact that I'm on a spectrum. But I was hyper fixated on that song that particular night. Storm is over now. Yeah. And I can see the sunshine somewhere beyond the clouds. I can feel heaven. Heaven is over me. Would you come and set me free? Yeah. Would you come and set me free? Yeah, that song, I had played it like 300 times. I just kept playing it. And around 7 o'clock, I normally clock into American Apparel at 10 o'clock in the morning. But around 7 o'clock, I finally fell asleep. All night, could not sleep. I finally fell asleep. And I had a vivid dream of God, whatever that looks like God, reaching out to me and said, do you think I abandoned you? You thought you were keeping yourself safe this whole time? You by yourself, a young girl in a car that doesn't lock, that doesn't have windows. You thought that was all you? You thought that was all you? And he's chastising me, this God. Like, he's like, you thought that was all you? How could you ever doubt me, my child? How could you ever doubt me? I've always been here. I was just waiting for you to call me. I was just waiting for you to come home. So I was like, okay. I woke up and I said, if that was really you, you will get me out of this car by the end of today. I brushed my teeth like I always do inside of my car. I brushed my teeth. I got back in the car, started, freshening up a little bit. And I opened my laptop, connected to my, my Wi-Fi on my phone. And I got an email from a company saying that, could you please come in for an interview tomorrow? And we would like to hire you. We would like to interview for a writing position. And so I was like, how do they even know I'm a writer? I work retail. And so I got this email at the time, specsandblazers@gmail.com. So I wrote them back, set up the interview. I went the next day and they were like, we're just looking for someone to push out articles for us on our website, on our blog. They're a fashion company and we'll pay you $500 per article. And you do have to get the, take the pictures and everything. And that's what we're looking for. And I was like, how'd you guys find me? They were like, from Tumblr. I was like, my Tumblr was just for fun. Like, I don't really post anything prolific on there, anything profound. Like, I write, but like not good enough to be hired by a company. I'm saying this all in my head, but I just kept saying to myself, okay, stay confident, remain confident. So I said $500 per article. They were like, yeah. And I said, if you can advance me my first 2 months right now, I don't know what gave me the confidence, the audacity to ask this. If you can advance me right now at this moment, we'll shake on it and I will never let you down. I'll make your company so famous. I will promote it till I can't breathe. They were like, huh? They kept looking at each other, the two ladies. They were so beautiful. They were like, huh? I was like, yeah, advance me right now. Cut the check right now. Give me $4,000 right now. I won't ask you for anything else. I will write your articles. I'm punctual. I'm tenacious. I will push it out on time every single Friday. You will not regret it. But give me 2 months right now. And they were like, I said, cut the check. And she goes to her table. She writes me a $4,000 check. She hands it over. I said, this check will not bounce, right? She's like, no, it won't bounce. You're sure? She's like, yeah, I'm sure. Okay. We shook on it. I went home. I put it in my Chase account. The check did not bounce. And I went and got a studio apartment. From that day on, I no longer have roommates. I had pride in myself. At 25 years old, I no longer have roommates. And I wrote for them for about 2 years before my influencing career took off. I say all this to say, God is real. You just have to listen. If you're in a rough place in life right now and you're wondering how could God do this to you, he does not exist. He's just waiting. I'm getting emotional. He's just waiting for you to call him. He's waiting for you to come home. And so much so, I remember like rushing back to my Nissan Altima, my baby, my push to start, because I had to literally push it to start. I remember running back to my driver's side before I got in the car, and I just got on my knees by my driver's side of the car, and I just kept saying, God, I will never doubt you again. I will never doubt you again. You are so real. And I will spend the rest of my life yelling and screaming your name at the top of my lungs for the rest of my life. And that's what I've done. I've experienced being broke here and there since, but I've never experienced that kind of poverty again. And every time I meet someone now who's like, I don't believe in God, God is not real, I go, so how's that working out for you? They usually always have a very chaotic life. And I just go, why don't you just give him a call? Why don't you just call him? He's waiting for you. Just call him. He'll pick up. I promise. And yeah, that's my story of the day that how I was an atheist for only 8 months, and it was the worst 8 months of my life because our God is a jealous God. And ever since then, my faith in him has remained so strong.